Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be taking the Potensic T25 GPS drone up for its flight review. Now I did a table overview a week or two ago on this, and finally got some nice weather to take it up now and do the flight review on this drone. Now, a few things that I didn't mention in the table review. One of them was the app. You want to use the Potensic G app. I already have that connected here to the drone. I'll put a screenshot up here of what the app looks like from the Google Play Store and iOS. Now, I've already have it bound. Now, it usually asks for a compass calibration. I don't see the lights doing that right at the moment. I checked it a moment ago. So to enter into that, you should, if it doesn't ask you to do a compass calibration, it's not a big deal if you're flying from the same spot. But we're gonna go ahead and do it today because it's really, really simple. So if it doesn't blink, the rear lights, all the lights will blink and then the rear will go solid. I'll show you in a second. Go ahead and just initiate that by doing both sticks up and in, and now it says keep drone level, pick up the drone. Now what it asks you to do is it asks you to do a rotation. Well, if you're like me and get dizzy easy by spinning around in circles, you don't have to spin your entire body in a circle. You can actually, I'm going to set my controller down so I can do this. You can actually just spin the drone. So hopefully you can see that the lights here are all flashing. You can just spin the drone in your hand. You don't have to do a rotation with your body. And you'll see the rear lights have gone solid. Now you go nose down and just do one rotation and the lights will go solid. There they are. It's all done. How simple is that? So you can do a whole rotation of your body if you wish, but you don't have to. So if you do that as soon as you power it on, you may have to wait for the lights to all go solid again. They'll go solid after the compass calibration, but they may start blinking again, letting you know they're looking for GPS satellites. But I have all solid, I'm certain, because, and we'll see here, I got white in the front and a bluish in the back. That's because I have a full meter of GPS satellites, so it doesn't give you a satellite count. So the camera on this is 1080p. That's the big difference between this and like the Hobby Tiger Ranger, which is a very, very similar drone, almost identical otherwise. The camera on this, in my test, it's a little bit bland. It's kind of bland, drab, I guess is a better adjective. Just doesn't pop. The resolution is 1080p. I did check that. It runs at 25 frames per second, a little over 8,000 kilobits per second. It's okay. The detail I'd like to be a little better, but it's not terrible. There's not a lot of jello wobble, which is good. That makes it almost unwatchable whenever you have that. You guys can see for yourself. I'm gonna go ahead and save. It does save to the memory card. I've tried two different memory cards, and probably the most disappointing thing about the camera is it still drops frames, even though I'm saving to the SD card. It does record a copy also to your phone. Don't use that. Obviously use the SD card where you'll have even less likely to drop any frames, but it drops frames whenever you write to the memory card. I don't know why it does that. I've seen that maybe once or twice before. These are good memory cards, so you'll see it'll just all of a sudden jump, and obviously that's going to make sync issues a problem with this. So in this video coming up, I'd imagine you're going to see the flight get all out of sync with what I'm doing because it's dropping frames. So pretty disappointed overall in the camera on this drone, but it is cool that it rotates, and I'll show you that. It tilts down. You can even do it here on the helipad. See, and we'll rotate it back up. I'll rotate it back up. Try to do that once we get it out in the air. All right, enough blabbing. Let's go ahead and we'll do a auto takeoff. I'm going to take it out as far as I can get it to go. I was about 150 meters yesterday, and the controller disconnected and it started to fly back. So the range is okay. It's not extreme. It's not horrible. It's pretty much typical range, I think, for a toy drone. All right, let's go ahead and we'll do an auto takeoff. I'm going to go ahead and start recording video. When you start recording video with this drone, it beeps at you the whole time, which is quite annoying. So especially when you're doing a review like this and you have to talk over it. But there's nothing I can do about that. So, all right, we're recording video now. As you can hear, it's beeping. Let's go ahead and do an auto takeoff. It's a very stable flyer. There's a little bit of wind today here at times. All right, we have no toilet bowling. That's good. So the compass calibration is obviously good. Let's just take it out now. and see what kind of range we can get. We're out about 30 meters now, it says. I'll take it up a little bit higher. Try to include as much of the screen recording as I can get for you guys, but you know, it probably isn't going to be a whole lot different than the SD card, but I'd like to let you at least see what's on the SD card, because it should be a little better. There you know, it says remote control fails. So I'm out around 150 feet now. I've still got a Wi-Fi feed, but I have no controls here to tell the drone what to do, to actually see if I can see a live feed. It's wobbling here, so it should fly back, but I'm not sure. You know, a connection break should cause it to fly back, but I'm not seeing it pick it back up. So at this point, if it doesn't, let's see, is it now? It might be. If it does, it's going to go up to 50 meters and then fly back. I'm not seeing it at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and press the return to home button here just to make sure it does come back to me. So we'll look for it here. I do have, like I said, I do have a live Wi-Fi feed. Now you've got a bunch of beeps. You've got the return to home beep, the recording beep to your SD card, and it's it can be a bit crazy. Now the thing is I'm telling it to return to home, but I was just thinking if my controller connection is broken, and here it is overhead, it was returning home, because if my controller lost its connection, then pressing return to home is not going to do anything. I'm going to try to cancel that. So I've got it up overhead here. Here it is. The Wi-Fi feed, I was not able to see actually where it was. So here it comes down. It went up to 50 meters, and here it is. I don't know why I was thinking that, guys. That was kind of silly. It said the controller broke connection, which it did yesterday. Well, of course, pressing the return to home is not going to do anything. So it was returning to home on me, which I thought it did. I guess I kind of panicked and just press the controller thinking that would do something. But it looks like it's hovering up there. Let's go ahead now that I got it. I think I may have canceled it. Here it comes. I canceled it, I believe, whenever I pressed that to stop the beeping a second ago. That canceled the return to home. It should be coming down now. I think it is. No, it says it's still 48.5 feet up. So let's bring it down. Now I'm just going to manually bring it down. Not exactly sure what's going on there. It's facing to the north right now. I'll just go ahead and bring it down myself. The return home does work. I did it twice yesterday. We'll cancel all these beeps when we get it back on the ground. Yeah, not exactly sure. Well, here it is coming. Yeah, there we go. Now it's easing out. Let's see. Is it going to come down? Yeah, it looks like it is now. I don't know. That was really slow to come down. I had to kind of manually. Not sure what's up with that. You do press the return to home again to cancel that. Then I'm going to hold in and stop the beep. I've flown this several times. It seems like every time I fly, something a little bit different happens there, because that should have returned to home, which I think it did, because pressing the controller disconnects at 150 meters. So then at that point, I can't tell it to come back. It should on its own, which I believe that it did. But I really couldn't tell where it was because the camera's facing out. I couldn't tell in the sky. And this thing, at 50 meters, this thing is pretty hard to see up in the sky there. So that's part of the reason why. And I'm not sure why it was taking forever for it to come down until I actually started pulling down on the throttle. So, but I've had no problems with the return to homes in the past. I'm just a little bit uncertain about what's happening when it's disconnecting. It seems like it does fly back, but again, it's kind of hard to spot that. So 150 meters, that's what I got yesterday in my test. So there's no reason to test that again. 150 meters is where it's disconnecting from the controller. It is flying back. It's just hard for me to see it because I have it set to 50 meters. So I'll show you guys here in the screen recording. You press the three little lines and get it to press. And beginner mode I have turned off. That comes turned on by default. So you got all your flight distance and altitude and all that set really low. I have them, once you turn it off, you've got to slide the sliders up. So 500 meters is the flight distance. Obviously, that's not going to matter. You're not going to get more than 150. I got 120 meters for the highest that we can go in altitude, which we should be able to hit that. And return home I have at 50, but I'm going to drop that down to about 25 and say, because that was really, really high and hard to see. I'm going to double check that those settings took, and they did. All right, we'll go ahead and start recording again here, and I'm going to take it up. Of course, we got that annoying beep again. I'm going to go ahead and take it up and just fly it around in front of me here for a moment. And we'll test the return to home where it's more closer to line of sight. If you hold in the auto takeoff and landing button for a few seconds, it will kill the motors, which I did yesterday. I was just talking, pressed the auto land, and I didn't realize I held it in and it just fell to the ground, which it was only up maybe 10 feet. It did not hurt the drone. As you can see here in the FPV feed, I can see there is some bobble and wobble. It's mostly, I call it bobble. It's not really like jello wobble. Now I'm fighting a bit of a breeze, so that could introduce some wobble that I didn't have yesterday. Here it is up overhead. And now it's gonna, I want to let the sticks try to hold its position. And I said there's a decent breeze. A little light drone like this is going to really have a hard time fighting that. It's doing a pretty good job though. I'm gonna move it back here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and rotate the camera now up in the air so I don't forget to do that. Let's rotate it down as much as we can. Let's see if we can turn it here, and I'm over here. It's looking at me right here, guys. I'm waving, but I don't know if that's going to show up. But let's go ahead and we'll just keep rotating around. And let's go ahead and raise the camera back up. I do like that you know, it is choppy with the lag, and it doesn't, you know, it's not a smooth movement. Here it's flying over here now, so yes, we've got low battery, so it's going to execute a return to home now. The flight time on this drone is not very good. I don't know what we got there. I'm guessing probably in the 8-minute neighborhood. And it makes it difficult when you're doing this to test stuff. I don't even have time to test on this battery like follow me mode, which is on the controller here. I did get the test set on the Hobby Tiger version, and look at that return to home, guys. That's really good for a toy going just off GPS. Let's stop that annoying beeping here. All right. So that was a good return to home on that thing. As I was saying, the Hobby Tiger version, which is the same drone, the follow me mode works pretty well on it. It's not too bad. So this is going to be exactly the same. So I'll just take my word on that. Otherwise, I have to go charge the battery back up, come back out here and try to do just that to add to the video, which is quite a lot of work. But the battery with this is, you know, it's not a very big battery. I don't remember the milliamp hour, but that is in my I do cover that in the table review, you know, portion, the other video I filmed for this drone. So pretty short flight time and just average range on this guy. And overall, if I'm going to rate this drone, you know, camera, I do like that it does tilt, as you guys can see here. I had it tilted down a little still. Now it's level. Camera quality, I'm going to give it overall thumbs down because, you know, I'm going to give it a thumbs down on the camera just because it's the blandness of it, of the camera, the frames per second only being 25. The drone flight, the flight ability and how well it flies and holds position and returns to home accuracy, I'm going to give that a big thumbs up. Looks like I bumped a button on the controller. I give it a big thumbs up on the flight ability of this, how well this thing flies. The battery life, I got to give that a big thumbs down. The battery just, it doesn't fly very long, and you know, you'd expect better than that. Overall, if you can get this drone for a good price, I don't remember what this sells for, and it's on Amazon, which is always going to be a little bit more. I'm sure it's over it's $100 or more. If you can get it for a good price of what you're comfortable with, then I think it's probably worthwhile if you can get a good price. You know, if it's 150 or something, I'd have to, I wouldn't be able to recommend it at that price. There's much better brushless options out there. But overall, it's an okay drone. but it's not great because of that battery life, you know, and the camera being 1080p with SD card, dropping frames, the blandness of it, the lowish frames per second, and I'm just not impressed with it. All right, guys, that wraps up the review of the Potensic T25 GPS drone. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, guys. I really appreciate the subscriptions. Be sure to click the bell so you know whenever I do upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a great day.
The power of the dark side.